Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good to be back with you. Last week, for the first time ever, we had our first interview, our first guest on the show. We had a blast with Jim Landino. Want to thank Jim again for coming on the show. I'm going to throw his stuff up here just in case you want to follow Jim at any point in time. JCL Development on Facebook and JCL Development on Instagram. So we had a blast with Jim. So thanks, Jim, for coming on the show. Appreciate that. Hope you'll be a friend of the show for a long time coming. Also wanted to give you guys a brief update on the logo. Last week I tried to fit it in there, but it wouldn't go. So there's a beautiful logo made by Derek Work. As you can see there, it has myself with some long hair. And that on the right side, folks, is not a piano. That is not a guitar, but that is a zipper. So I hope that you understand that now. There's been many questions, many concerns, many late night phone calls begging and pleading me to explain to them what the heck was on the right side. But to be honest, I had a very, very elderly woman the other day tell me that that was a zipper. So I know that people know that that's a zipper now. And I love that she knew that that's a zipper. So if you can't see that, now you know. So beautiful work by Derek Work there. I want to thank him for that logo. Now that we have that all finished up and wrapped up, now you know. So want to get back to the show. Want to tell you guys that we now have our stuff on YouTube. We have stuff on Facebook. So if you can follow us there, the zip code, and I'll show you some logos and whatnot later on in the show. But tonight, we got an incredible show. We have an incredible show. Two great guys are coming on the show. They're back-to-back-to-back national Spikeball champions. And folks, I don't know about you, but back-to-back-to-back is considered a dynasty. So we'll get them on here in a quick second. Want to thank Sheets as well for sponsoring the show. Thank you, Sheets. Also, want to let you know that we have the chat to the right. So if you want to bring on any questions, any comments during the feed, that will be absolutely fantastic. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Cisek Showalter. Going to bring them on the show. Here we go. Here we go. There they are. Folks, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
What's up? What's up?
Great, great. Hey guys, seriously, thank you for coming on the zip code. I really do appreciate it. No lie.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Hey, Sean, so I actually am having trouble hearing you.
You're having trouble?
I can hear Peter John, but I can't hear you.
All right. Well, if you want, you want to jump off and then jump back on.
I'm trying to mouth the words. I'm trying to see what you're mouthing.
You want to tell him that, Peter John?
Jump off and jump back on and see if it fixes
All
it. See you soon.
Yeah, that's the thing with live feeds, folks. I was listening to Tom Brady the other day on the Howard Stern show, and they were having major difficulties. So it happens, you know. This is not. Oh, see, look at that. That's beautiful. Can you hear us now?
Yep, I can hear you.
See if you can hear Peter John. Okay, now Peter John's froze. All right, well, folks, that's the issue with live streams. But
he's back.
Peter John, you're back?
Yes, sir. Still here.
All right, let's roll with this. So, once again, we have the back-to-back-to-back Spikeball National Champions, Peter John and Tyler Cisek. Peter John Showalter and Tyler Cisek. Some call him Ty, some call him Peej, some call him PJ. You guys have many nicknames, correct?
Many names.
Yeah.
All right. So is it safe to call you guys a dynasty? Is that safe?
I feel like dynasties should be thrown upon someone by an outside source.
Okay, say no more. Sean Zipai on the zip code has deemed Cisek Showalter a dynasty. You guys don't need to make any comment about that at all. Okay, Sean Zipai, you're out there listening right now. This team right here is a dynasty, folks. They're a dynasty. Also ranked number 1 and number 2 in the world as players. Now, that's another question I have for you guys. Who determines 1 and 2? Because right now, Ty, technically, you're 1. Peach, you're 2. I mean, is there Is there any disagreement on that, or is that just like, yeah, that's perfectly fine with us?
Every year there's like a panel of some of the top players from around the country that get sent out a list of all the like possible qualified top players, the pro players, and then they vote and arrange the players in like a top 40 order, I believe. And then at the end of the year, around the time of the national championship or a little bit after, they come out with a list of like the countrywide from West to East Coast voted on top 40. So there's always discrepancies among people with personal opinions about different players, but neither of us have a problem with being 1 and 2. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, like it's that's actually been one of the cool things because like neither of us are going to be like our care isn't, oh, I want to be number 1 player, I want to be number 2 player, you know, like it's just like we look forward to being the number 1 team together, and like I feel like that's like what helps us out because like we're not competing with each other, also like we're just competing with other teams, like we push each other to be better and we help each other be better. So like we don't care if we're number 29 and 30 because we're just looking to be a number 1 team,
Right.
you know?
Amen, brother. And that's what most championship teams would say as well. It doesn't matter about the individual person, but about the unit. And hey, you guys are laughing all the way to the bank, you know, with your 3 rings or your 3 pitchers. Well, I mean, maybe not the bank, but you get what I mean.
Somewhere we're laughing somewhere.
Yeah. So real quick, we have Ty. We have you listed at 5'7". Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and you're out of where in New York?
Copeg, New York.
Okay. And Pete, you're 6'3".
6'3", probably 6'5" with the hair, but discrepancy there.
I was gonna say, in one of those photos, I was thinking to myself, are you really 6'3", and is Ty really 5'7", or maybe the hair was throwing me off because it was a little bushy?
Definitely the hair. There's a lot of volume that I hold no responsibility for.
Right. That may be intimidating though for people playing against you. Like, wow, this dude's like 6'7" with that hair. Holy crap!
That's the goal. If it can just keep going up.
Yeah. So you're where out of Ohio?
I was born in Rosedale, Ohio. Currently live in Cleveland.
Rosedale, Ohio. Okay.
Yeah.
And Ty, you're still in New York?
Yep. Same house I grew up in.
Beautiful. All right, so let's get to some Spikeball stuff right off the bat. A lot of people probably wonder, how the heck did you guys get involved with Spikeball, and did you ever see it taking you on this crazy journey for you guys to be all the way at the top now? So let's start with you, Ty. How did you get introduced with Spikeball, and just tell us a little bit about when you decided to become competitive, etc.
Yeah. So my friend from home, who was actually my first partner that I played with, he saw a random ad on Facebook for Spikeball, and we were always known as the big gamers in our friend group. Like we would play every game, we would make up games and all that. So he saw it. He was like, "This is probably something we can make into a game, a different game." He bought it. He said, "Dude, I got this really cool game. You should come over and play it." So we played in his backyard 1-on-1 for like 3 hours, and we loved it. We loved it right away. And then we started getting our friends involved because we were in high school at that point. This was like 7 years ago, and we were seniors in high school. So yeah, so we got our friends involved, and then we started like beating them pretty badly, and we're like, maybe we're actually like decent at this. So then we found out that there were actually tournaments that were played. So we luckily for us, the first tournament was actually, I think, 2 weeks away, and it was in Coney Island, New York, which is 45 minutes away from my house. So it was kind of like perfect timing that it all worked out. And yeah, we played our first tournament. We lost to I don't know if I don't know if everyone knows Chico Spikeball, but they were the number 1 team for like 3 years or so, and like they were undefeated and all that stuff. And we lost to them in the quarterfinals. So we're like, hey, if we're getting out in the quarterfinals, we should probably see if we can like go somewhere with this. So then that's when we kind of started to take it a little more seriously in our group, and then we started practicing more, going to more tournaments. Then we won some tournaments, and then and then me and Peter John started playing together, and the rest is kind of history from there.
Yeah. So that original team, was that the Rookies? Is that what it was called?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The Rookies.
Nice. So you being from New York and then also playing at Coney Island, do you prefer sand?
I actually prefer turf. That's not a very favorable platform, I guess, or surface, because
Uh,
people usually say that you get burned, turf burn. Peter John hates turf because he gets turf burn, little baby.
The
But
worst.
I actually don't mind sand because growing up on Long Island, I mean, I had beaches near me the whole time, so I was used to sand. I was used to turf because I played on turf, playing sports growing up on Long Island as well. So grass is kind of the least favorite because, like Peter John's a baby on turf, I'm a baby on grass. Whenever I dive, my bones are fragile, so I will just break in half if I dive the wrong way. So
right. Right. Now, is that the reason why you only came to the Hermitage Spikeball Classic 1 out of 3 years?
partially, yeah. The other part was because I didn't even know Peter John at that point, I don't think, and so I didn't even know anywhere was a place besides New York. Um, so Hermitage Classic just wasn't even on the radar at that point.
We'll get to the Hermitage Spikeball Classic in a little bit, but yeah, I mean about the turf, a lot of people don't like those little pellets, getting all in their pants and their shorts and their socks, but I mean I understand it's definitely probably a fast surface.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you get to move really fast comparatively to sand. Sand slows you down. People don't like that. People like playing defense, but then complain about defense. That's a whole different thing. But either way, turf is
Right.
great. You can run around. You can dive. It's amazing.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so let's get to you, Peach, and then let me quickly just bring in Sheets real fast. Sheets, feel the love. Oh, I love doing the sponsorship stuff, guys.
So good.
So let's go to you, PJ. How the heck did you start with Spikeball, and then when did you start to be competitive?
So I learned about it at the reception of a friend's wedding. A wedding reception. There were some people, like some groomsmen, I think, messing around on the Spikeball set after the wedding. And I have 3 brothers, so with the 4 of us, it's perfect for any like 2-on-2 competition. And so we played. We learned there, and then I think like the next Christmas or something, my parents got us a set, and we played just kind of among us brothers, and really liked it. And then me and my oldest brother Seth were kind of the ones that took to it the most. And we found out, kind of like Ty said, that there were tournaments around the country, and there was kind of like a more professional scene. It wasn't just a backyard game. And so we went to several like smaller local tournaments around us, one including Hermitage. And the first tournament we got second at, or won, I think. And we were like, oh, we should keep playing this game if like we're actually kind of decent. And then one of the next tournaments we went to was like a big national tournament, and we just got murdered in like the round of 16 or something. And then that really gave us the itch. So we played like that whole season. And then the next year I played with one of my college buddies. And then, yeah, the past 3 years I played with Ty. But that's kind of how it came on the scene. Really random, and then turned into like a huge part of my life.
Right. And I still remember the original Monkey Business team with you and your brother facing against myself and my brother. I think we met up in the semifinals.
Yeah.
That was one of the first losses that the Zip Bros ever took.
Well, it's an honor to have given it to you.
Honor to take it from you, my friend. Not really. I want some revenge, but
well, that's fair.
Yeah. So so you guys won the Hermitage Spikeball Classic that first year, and then the second year, I believe it was Nashburg that won it.
Correct.
And then the third year, you and Ty won it.
Yeah.
So
we weren't a team yet. We were still kind of like a mashup team, but we got together and played it just for fun. So the next year that we actually became a team.
So at that point in time in 2016, which was the last year we did the Hermitage Classic, you guys were still kind of just mashing up, toying around with the idea of playing together. It wasn't like full on yet.
Yeah, he was with the rookies, and then I was with my buddy from college on a team called Safi. And then I think me and Ty played like 2 tournaments together that year or something. And then, yeah, kind of turned into playing together more full time.
Right. So, and one of the first times that you and Ty played together was when you beat the top team in the country at that point, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So me and Ty met at a tour stop, one of the bigger tournaments in the country in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And it was basically my older brother, my teammate, talking to his older brother. And then both of them realized that, Seth, my brother, told his older brother that I couldn't play that Seth couldn't play at the upcoming tournament, and his older brother told Seth the same thing about Ty. So basically, both of us needed teammates, and then they introduced us real quick, and we're like, "You guys should play together." And I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm PJ." He's like, "Hey, I'm Ty. You want to play with me?" Sure. And then we went our separate ways, and then we got together the day before that tournament and played a little bit, and like it felt pretty good. Felt like we could, I don't know, felt like we could be a pretty decent team. And then we played in that tournament and ended up upsetting several teams who we weren't supposed to beat, but the main one was in the finals where we beat that number one team, Chico, who was undefeated for like 2 or 3 straight years. So it was a pretty sick first tournament to have together.
Yet at that point, there was a bounty on Chico, correct, for $2,500.
Correct. That made it a little sweeter.
So you guys beat Chico Spikeball the first time you're playing in a tournament together, and you're rewarded with a $2,500 cash prize.
That's it.
That's not a bad way to start.
That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Real quick, before we get too much into this, I'm going to play a clip, hopefully, from you guys at Nationals last year, and hopefully this plays. If not, like I said, technical difficulties. So it's about a 30-second clip. For those of you that don't know about Spikeball, this way you can get a little bit better feel for it, and these guys as well. The first little clip is holding their big trophy. So let me put this in the stream here, and I'm going to make it the only thing. So let's see if this plays here. All right. Hopefully people can see that. I guess we'll know at the end. You guys can still hear me?
Yep.
Ty, you're good?
I can hear Peter John and not you. I'll be back.
Do the routine. Yeah, there you go.
You know the routine, man.
That video is courtesy of Jack Matthews, our extremely talented video guy. Should give a plug for him.
What a guy.
What a guy.
I've never met Jack Matthews, but I'm sure that he's legit.
He has some skills with a video camera that make me question a lot of things about life.
Yeah. You good, Ty?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
I agree.
Just another quick plug as well for Penn State. I think Peter John should change that hoodie to a Penn State hoodie. We'll
Get
talk
out
about
of here.
podcast.
Get out of here.
See, apparently Tyler does too. He left.
He left just at the mention of Penn State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know where he keeps going, but we'll keep bringing him back in. So, real quick, let's talk about how you married somebody that is in the top 5 of female spikeballers. And Ty, you're currently dating somebody that's on a top 3 spikeball team.
Yep.
I mean, where a guy's got to go to these spikeball tournaments to get married or have a girlfriend these days.
That's what it seems like. I mean,
must be a
we
big
got lucky.
there or something.
We got lucky that the people we're dating and married to also like to play this weird, obscure, amazing sport with us. So
probably part of the reason we like
them. Yeah.
Probably.
And hey, maybe if you go to a spikeball tournament, you'll find your future wife. So
that is a beautiful plug. That's a beautiful plug.
So if that doesn't sell sets, I don't know what will.
Right. And speaking of spikeball tournaments, now in 2014 for the Hermitage Spikeball Classic, for those of you that don't know, my hometown, my brother and I put on this spikeball tournament. We had like 20 some people, and then the second and third year, or not people, sorry, teams. Second and third year we had I believe around 30 teams. So if that was in 2016, I'm asking you guys, if we revitalized that tournament and we brought that back, what's just give me an estimate of how many teams you think we could have nowadays. I mean, that was 4 years ago.
Answer on 3, Peter John.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
100.
70. 70 is the answer. All right. So 7,000.
I think it really depends on the date. If you had it on a good date where there weren't other big tour stops happening and stuff, and then me and Ty got a couple other top teams to commit, and then we kind of spread the word. It could be the way. Let's just say it was one of the most smoothly, creatively run tournaments I've ever been to, and that was in 2016. So it wouldn't be hard to convince people, I don't think.
My brother behind the camera. We haven't had 1,000 subscribers yet to YouTube, so I can't show the producer, my brother, but he's smiling. He likes that.
Love to make him smile.
Also, and I believe this to be true, and I've messaged Spikeball or Roundnet or let's get to that real quick. Roundnet, is that the association now that people are going by? Like
so Roundnet is the game, and then that's kind of, there's like a movement. There's different beliefs by different people in the community, but kind of where it seems to be heading is Spikeball is the company and Roundnet is the sport. So that Spikeball is the company, like kind of like Nike providing gear for basketball. Same idea. Spikeball is the company, Roundnet is the sport. But because it started as Spikeball, the sport did, it's kind of taking a little while for it to transition. But
gotcha.
kind of call it both interchangeably at the moment. That's what I do, at least.
Yeah. Well, if you do it, we all can do it.
There you
go. So my big thing was when we first started the Hermitage Spikeball Classic, I had thought, well, wait a second. Are people really going to be honest with the 6-foot service line? So I found a video, and I can't play it right now because it didn't send, and I was going to play it, and the guy would be embarrassed, which is kind of what I wanted to do to him. But he's out there. He's out there making these 6-foot circles, and they're beautiful. And I think that is the first tournament ever that implemented the actual service circle. I think. So I'm going to go on record to say that. That would have been 2014.
That's a big statement.
It's a huge statement, and I don't know if it's true. So if somebody out there knows of a tournament before the fall of, I think it was maybe September 21st of 2014. I don't know how I know that, but I think it may have been that date where the service circle was implemented in the tournament. So we got to figure out whether that's true, because if it is, every single time one of those circles is done, I need some throwback.
Oh, that seems fair to me. Yeah, we'll have to talk to some people, get that happening.
Yeah, and real quick before I move on, another beautiful thing was the trophy. The trophy at the Hermitage Spikeball Classic was called the Lems Cup. So the Lems Cup is still out there in these gentlemen's possession somewhere, probably in some storage unit with other 30,000 trophies. But the beautiful thing about the trophy is that is also the same trophy that is used for the national championship as well. So, there's a lot of things that were taken from the Hermitage Spikeball Classic, if you guys understand what I'm saying here.
Really true. Really true.
Well,
also,
now that we're on the...
Go for it.
Now they're on the Lems Cup. So I actually lost my coupon 4 years ago for the free Lems. Is there any chance I can get another coupon for a free pair of shoes?
Well, listen, luckily for you, I reached out to the owner of Lems, and he may be on the show in like the next month or two. So I'll try to mention it to him, maybe be like, hey.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The coupon's 4 years old, but see what we can do.
I'll say Hermitage, while we're still on that, was the first, I think, and only tournament that I've been to as well that had if I remember correctly, at least the 2014 tournament had the Star Spangled Banner sung live before the tournament, and then also live commentary through every round of the whole tournament, which was spectacular. That
is a shout out to our good friend Michael Mondak.
He was the ultimate hype man. Oh my goodness.
He's legendary. He's legendary. And if the Hermitage Spikeball Classic ever does make a comeback, you can bet your bottom dollar that Mondak will be there.
I won't come if he's not, so I hope so.
Okay, well, we'll arrange it. Don't you worry.
Perfect.
So in like 10 seconds, can you guys explain Spikeball to somebody that's still watching that's like, what the heck is Spikeball?
Go, Ty.
Nice. So basically it's like a combination of volleyball and foursquare. It's like volleyball in the sense of it's a 2v2 game. So I like beach volleyball. It's a 2v2 sport. And each team has up to 3 hits to get the ball back on the net. And instead of hitting over the net in volleyball, you're hitting onto this round net that is about 10 inches off the ground. And you can play it in any direction. And I guess that's where round net, the sport name, came up, because you play on a round net. But yeah, that's
There
kind
you
of
go.
the overall gist of it.
Do you fellas think that there ever will be a perfect net where there will be no more pockets? Pockets, watching out there, it's sometimes when the ball hits the net in the side of the rim kind of awkwardly and it goes a different direction. So it just, what is it now? Just well, I guess it's a fault, correct, on a serve?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just play it the rest of the time. I don't think there ever will be, unless they drastically change what the word net means in the game, because there's always going to be some sort of rim that the net attaches to, and there'll be just a slack in the net more so there than in other parts of the net. So
Yeah, or if I guess if physics changes, then that could
it happens.
Yeah, I'll talk to my guy. I'll talk to Mondak about that. Maybe. And then Ty, you've also been you were quoted on one of the ESPN articles just talking about maybe how you'd like to see round net become an Olympic sport in the future. Do you think that has any chance in the future still, or is it like, who knows?
I do think there's a chance. I think it is. I think the next couple of years are going to be pretty important for the sport, because it's kind of a period of, it's like players are waiting on Spikeball and Spikeball is waiting on the players. So it's kind of like a who's going to make the first move almost.
Right.
So I guess it's kind of up to both parties to see if it goes to where it could be. And I mean, there's a bunch of people that play it, even if it's just recreationally, and if it's promoted more as like a sport, like people know about the sport and the league and all that stuff, then I think that it definitely could be an Olympic sport. Obviously, that is years and years away, but I think with the skill that people need to play it and like the amount of athletes that like playing it, I think that it definitely could get to there at some point.
Right. Now, on that note, just talking about the skill and the athleticism that it takes, would you say that most people's background is from, I don't know, I've noticed a ton of soccer backgrounds from players. You guys think that is very true as far as one sport that many have come from, or no?
Yeah, I'd say there's a lot of soccer. I think a lot of the footwork comes pretty naturally for soccer players. So like Ty is a former, well, still a soccer player, but played a lot more soccer before Spikeball came along. And he's super quick, super agile, has great footwork. But then I think like some of the more natural hitters in the game might come from like tennis, which you would think volleyball, but volleyball kind of has the wrong form for optimal hitting in the sport. But there's a lot of tennis players who it comes really naturally to hit low and sideways and far. And then volleyball players also, once they get the hang of the kind of rhythm of the sport, they're really good as well, just because of the hand-eye coordination and the quick reflexes, and also like the feet movement on a volleyball court. So there's a lot of things that translate. But I would say if you had to pick one, it'd probably be soccer players that make up a slight majority of the.
Yeah. I think I've always been a little bit biased because I grew up playing soccer, but I think there's a lot of sports where you could say, oh, that guy's really athletic, but then the second he has to use his feet for something, it's almost like he's tripping over himself a little bit. So I think that soccer translates extremely well to many different sports.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could definitely see the tennis thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think also that it's easier to train your hands than it is your feet. So like if you have your feet coordinated and like able to do certain movements, then like your hands, I mean, you use your hands for everything. So like your hands are easy to translate into sports. I think that's just my
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I would maybe agree with that because
I see you're shaking your head, you know.
What'd you grow up playing, Peter John?
What'd you say?
What'd you grow up playing?
I thought you said, "What's your girl playing?" I grew up playing several things. I grew up as a missionary kid in Africa, so I grew in Morocco. So I grew up playing a lot of soccer there. And then when we moved back to the States, I played tennis and basketball in high school as well. So, and then we lived in China for a little bit as a missionary kid as well. So ping pong a lot there. So kind of just a mixture of a lot of things. I'm not great at most of them, but I'm pretty good at a lot of them, I would say.
Gotcha. I see Ty like squinting over there. Is he a lot better than he alludes to?
Beer John's a very good athlete, that's for sure.
He's modest. He's modest. So at what age did you come back to the States, Peach?
What was that?
At what age did you come back to the States?
Well, so we were in China when I was in first grade, just for a year, and then we were back in the States. So I was like 8 or whatever. I don't know how old you are in first grade, but however old first graders are. And came back, and then was in Morocco from like 12-ish to 16, 17.
Okay, nice.
So then came back for my junior and senior years of high school. So I just played basketball those 2 years and tennis those 2 years. But yeah.
Gotcha. My family, we made our first trip to Sierra Leone over the summer with an organization called EduNations. They build schools over there, and I love Africa, man.
Yeah, so cool. The cultures are awesome. So much fun.
Yeah. Well, hey, whenever we revitalize the Hermitage Spikeball Classic, we'll have to play some ping pong as well.
Deal. Sounds good.
All right, so just a quick break for a sponsor. Sheets Run and Done. We're going to get on to the next segment about these guys. I want to know a little bit of backstory about how you guys train. So, I mean, right now I picture you guys are just sitting there on your couch watching movies, eating Cheetos, and then come, July, August, November, or September, you guys just get up and you're national champions. Is that how it works?
So I can't really speak for Peter John, but I know, at least for me recently, I've actually been getting more into tennis. So tennis has kind of been like, if I'm gonna play a sport right now, it is tennis. So Spikeball really hasn't been on my radar too much recently. But I know that, I mean, a couple years back, I know that I used to play a ton. I wouldn't say training per se, like, I wouldn't say I was in the garage or basement just like hitting against the wall. But I did play with people a lot. So like I would play as much as I could with people. So I would go a lot of weekends. That was actually when I was traveling to Lancaster a lot, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And like there's a ton of people that play in Lancaster. So I'd play so many weekends in Lancaster, and then I'd play at home with my old partner and my brother and a really good friend, and then I'd play in tournaments. So throughout the week and the weekends, I would be playing so much. But in terms of like training, I don't think that I ever more than maybe like a handful of times just played to like train, just like serve or hit or whatever.
So you're not out there in your garage with a light on at midnight, just hitting spike balls on the net, and then it hits the wall and it comes back to you.
No, that's not really my that's never been really my type of practice.
Gotcha. What about you, PJ?
Well, I would kind of say the same thing, but also I would add that more recently, well, maybe like I think like about halfway through our second year together, or I don't know when exactly, but we both kind of hit a wall with just playing spikeball, where we both started playing a lot more other sports and kind of considering it like cross training, I guess. And I think playing ping pong or playing tennis or playing basketball or soccer, whatever, helps you be a lot more creative when you get back to playing spikeball. And then also, obviously, like ping pong, tennis, a lot of those things will help your foot skills, will help your hand-eye coordination, your hand speed, your quickness. So we would just like, we and Ty get together, we'll play spikeball with friends or whatever, but then we'll play a ton of like one-on-one basketball and like ping pong and tennis. And then people are like, how do you train? It's like, well, we just play sports all the time, and we have our hands ready, and we know how to read a ball, we know how to move for a ball, and then you get to spikeball and it gives you all kinds of different ideas that you wouldn't have if you like just played spikeball. So I think that's a lot of what we've been doing the past couple of years.
Yeah, and I'm going to translate that to golf, because growing up, Jordan Spieth, he played a bunch of different sports as well, and people are like, why the heck didn't he just play golf? Mm-hmm. And now you look back, and it's like burnout is a real thing.
Yeah,
like Rory McIlroy, he said a couple years ago, I may be one of the best golfers in the world, but I no longer enjoy playing golf. I mean, that was his job.
Right.
So guess that answers kind of that question for you guys too. You probably want to keep it somewhat fresh where you enjoy playing Spikeball, and it's just not like, oh man, we got to go to this tournament, kick everybody's butt. You know, I mean, I'm sure that will always be fun from a competitive standpoint. But do you guys have that burnout a little bit or no?
I think we have had it from time to time. We'll like play a lot and we'll get a lot of touches in leading up to the national championship each year, and then it'll kind of all culminate with a national championship, and then at least I personally, and I think Ty as well, just kind of take some time off, and we might like play every once in a while or whatever, but maybe take a month and not really like think about it that much, not play that much, and still play other sports or whatever, but not dedicate. It takes, I think, a lot of what isn't talked about is like the mental energy that it takes to play that much, the drive to win constantly, and that's kind of what it takes, I think, to win a lot of times. And so we've had like kind of half burnouts, I guess, several times where we'll either burn out at the same time or different times. And if it's different times, we'll like get your head in the game, whatever. It's kind of easy. You just call the other person back. You kind of get them to start playing again. And if you're both at the same time, then we kind of just are rusty for a little while until we get back into it. But I think that's kind of the goal of playing lots of sports is the more complete athlete you are, the more you have to bring to the game once you're back playing Spikeball. So.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the beautiful thing about sports too, is the way God created our bodies and biomechanics, everything translates to one another. There's not one sport that can't translate to another. So that's pretty cool. So let's get into I did have one other question real quick about the serving. So I've never played in a tournament on sand, but how does the service circle work on sand? Do they spray paint in sand? I mean, what the heck do they do?
No, there really isn't any good way that we have figured out yet. I guess the best way is that there's these little almost like weights that have string ties to them, and that like are stuck in the sand. I think like there's probably 8 around the net, and around the circle there's 8 of these weights with string ties that like don't hurt to step on. Like you can't even feel them, and they're all 6 feet away. But I mean, the more you play on that sand, they're gonna get kicked up at some point, and then like you need to remeasure. And regardless, there just really isn't a great way yet that we figured out to have a 6-foot line in sand. So I guess it started off of sand, like people took advantage of that 6-foot line a lot in sand. And like there really wasn't any way to call them on it besides going over there and like laying down and like measuring yourself. So I guess the weights were a small fix, but if it's gonna be like a real surface that we play on, then there needs to be some type of better way to figure out 6 feet.
Right. There's got to be a better way, because I just tried to understand what you said and I have no idea what those things even are. But maybe
that's a big reason that a lot of the tournaments are getting moved. They used to be beach tournaments. They're getting moved to turf or grass because it's just, you need more regulation. You need refs to be able to call what they see. And if there's no lines in the sand, or if the lines are changing, to like big kind of iconic sand tournaments each year that have always been sand and they'll stay sand or whatever. But a lot of the sand tournaments have moved to being grass or turf tournaments, just because it makes more sense and the rules are more precise in that playing field. Right.
Maybe at least for the national championship, I mean, they can get like a drone that hovers over that has like lasers or something over the net that has a circle. You know, I mean, that's
wild.
You start working on that.
Well, you might see something like that at the Hermitage Spikeball Classic. You know, the 4th one. You know, we're talking about this so much that it might come to fruition again.
If I hope it does. Finalize it by the end of this show, that'd be perfect.
My producer's smiling.
Again, let's go.
Real quick, both of you have had sheets before, correct?
Correct.
Oh, sure have.
Okay, beautiful. And you like it, I'm sure?
Well, actually, to be honest, I don't know what you mean when you said you've had sheets, but I have stopped at a sheets and I've bought exorbitant amounts of candy before, if that's what you're referring to.
That's exactly what I mean.
Okay, then I have had many sheets.
All right, good. Yeah. I guess in Western Pennsylvania, it's just like Sheets, Club Sheets. You go there, you eat, you just get everything there. It's Sheets.
Club Sheets.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but it has a lot of selection when it comes to sweeties.
And made to order. Come on, MTOs. All this type of food. Oh, it's a great thing. Anyways, I'm glad you like it, because if you didn't, I'd have to talk to my producer and you might be kicked off. So I'm glad we don't have to go down that route. So let's get to the 3 national championships that you guys have won. Let's start with 2016, the one you didn't win. You guys played together, correct, in 2016?
Yes, we did. No, we didn't play together in 2016.
No. So we played. He was playing with his old teammate, and that was the last year we didn't play together. And then 2017, 2018, 2019, we played together.
So every time you've played in a national championship or at the national tournament together, you guys have won.
Correct.
Nice. You're batting 1,000. So 2017 was on turf indoor in Chicago. Was the whole tournament indoor? Or was it raining outside, so you guys played indoor?
It was. So basically, it was supposed to be outdoor at this big, nice open field, and it was like the biggest nationals yet. They're trying to do more, set up more, and then like halfway through the night, well, it had been raining, and they were kind of keeping an eye on it, and it was just like crazy downpour the whole night. And they went out and checked on the fields, and it was just swamp. So we really couldn't. They temporarily canceled the tournament because they're like, we don't really have any other options, and then called around frantically during the middle of the night, early morning, and rented a couple turf places. So we were kind of spread out. The different divisions were spread out around the city a little bit, but we ended up playing that whole day. And it was this indoor turf, like soccer field arena place.
Nice. So that was 2017. Then that was your first win against Spicy Ruby.
Spicy Ruby, yeah.
So and that was kind of like a sleeper team, correct? They took you down in the first game, and then you guys, I think you beat them by 5 or 6, maybe the second game, and then the third game, you guys, the third game, I forget what the score was in the third game.
It was 21. Yeah, I think it was 21-18, maybe 21-19.
Okay.
And
they weren't even in like the top 10 predictions, or at least not the top 5 for the whole tournament. But then we ended up playing like our whole side of the bracket. Well, first of all, they played really well. I should give them that. But then our whole side of the bracket had like the top 5 or 6 teams that were all kind of predicted for those top spots, all on the same side. So we went through a couple of them. A couple of them took each other out, and then we made it there and didn't really expect to see them. And then they took us out in the first game. They played so well, but we managed to pull it out in the second and third.
Yeah, we have a really bad tendency to not play well in game ones. It's a tendency that we should definitely try to get rid of. But if you look at our games, a lot of the times we lose game one, which is kind of scary for my mom, especially because my mom goes to so many tournaments, and she's like, it is such a hard being a fan of CS, because you guys always put us on our seats. We're like, hey, I mean, give the fans what they asked for. I want a close match.
That's true. So, I mean, were you guys, that second game you showed how resilient you guys were as a team, coming back and, beating them by 5 or 6 points, I think, and then finishing off in the third game. But that same thing happened in 2019 too, correct? You lost that first game.
Correct.
Yeah.
The 2019 was by far the most, well, maybe not by far, but it was one of the most intense games we played in the whole time we've been playing together, I think. And it was just, the atmosphere was crazy. Like, everybody at the national championship had kind of finished up for the most part and was gathered around watching. So there was a big crowd. So there's a lot of just like a lot of energy, a lot of cheering. They took us out first game, and then every game was pretty close. And then the last game, we won in extra points, 22-20. So it was a wild atmosphere, and the games were about as good as you could hope for in competition.
Yeah, seeing some of those highlights, that was a crazy momentum swing there on that third game, where a couple calls went for you guys, and then Ty, you had that real beautiful rebound with your knee, I think, or your inner thigh.
Yeah.
That was sick.
It was a pretty wild few points. If you can see, right after like those last few points, like my like blood is like through the roof, and I'm like pumped up, and like I just go for this crazy fast serve, and like I completely miss the net, and then it was just like it was just like a way too much amped up that I just like completely just missed the heck out of the ball. But yeah, that was it was a heck of a match. I mean, there's a really memorable moment for me where we were down 2019. Preston was serving at Peter John, and there were a few hundred people watching, and you couldn't hear a sound. Like you couldn't hear anything going on besides people just like holding their breath. And then the second Preston double rimmed, it was just like a sigh of relief from like 300 people, just like, oh gosh, thank you. And then
Well,
Peter John comes back and then aces twice in a row to win it, which was insane.
yeah, that was a beautiful thing. I took note of everything that happened in that match, including you missing that serve. I took notes for if we do play you guys, the Zip Bros. You know, we were worried about burnout for about 4 years, so we didn't play. So the Hermit Spikeball Classic, we'll be ready. We've been taking notes.
You've been cross training for 4 straight years. You're ready to go.
Yes. So and then so that was 2017 Spicy River. In 2018, that was on sand. You guys won the first 2 games against Wabi Sabi, and Preston was on that team, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he had a new partner then for 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then 2019 was in Virginia on turf against Boisters, where you guys won 2-1. So 2020, are things still pretty confident on your end?
Yeah, I would say so. It really depends on what happens with the whole virus, but we don't really know. Like we've missed a few tournaments already, and we don't really know what the rest of the season looks like. We're supposed to have the World Championship, which you're talking about Olympics. Kind of the first big step towards that is this year in Belgium, is the World Championship, and we're having, or if it still goes on, we'll have both individual tournaments where just individual teams play each other, and then also squads where like the U.S. top 5 men's teams will play like Germany or Belgium's top 5 men's teams. So we've been excited about that and just excited to play again, but it's all kind of on hold for the moment. But we usually don't lack confidence. Confidence isn't the thing we need to gain the most usually.
Right. So that's pretty cool that Spikeball has already taken you guys to many different countries as well, which is pretty awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
We had a trip where we went to like Belgium and France, Germany. Did we go anywhere else? Was that it? I think that was it.
Denmark? Did you say Denmark?
Oh, Denmark, right.
Come on.
We played in a couple of tournaments and then just got to spend a lot of time with the European community. And we have been in communication with a lot of them just through like DMs on Instagram or whatever on Facebook. And it was really cool to actually like get to meet them face to face, play a bunch of matches with them. We stayed in their houses and they hosted one of the most hospitable communities we've ever been to. It was insane. We made some really good friends just in the like week or so that we were in those countries. So much so that we went back again a couple months later to play a tournament with the 2 of these little girls, 2 little 14-year-old girls that we met there. Yeah, it was just a really cool community and super fun to be able to think about like learning this game at a wedding and then making like one of my best friends Ty out of it, and then meeting people in Denmark all through this random little ball in the net.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, before Spikeball, I was like, oh, I'm for sure going to live in New York. Like, New York's the best, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, as soon as I started playing tournaments in like, other states, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. There's so much more.
This
like,
is huge.
yeah, no, it's crazy because, I mean, literally, we can go to, like, any state and just be like, hey, can we, like we just have friends, like, everywhere. Like, literally everywhere we have friends. So it's like, hey, you want to hang out in Washington? And it's like, what? Like, I never thought I'd know someone in Washington. You know, it's just crazy,
Right.
So crazy.
So real quick, somebody wants to know. Let's pop this up here. You make enough in tournament winnings that you have to put it on your taxes. Be careful what you're doing there, gentlemen.
I don't know what the I don't actually know what the like limit is where you have to start bringing on your taxes, but I always have. Just they send us like I forget what the form is. It's like
W1090 or something like that.
I don't know. It's something wild. W-2 is hard enough for me to remember, but it's something crazy.
Yeah, I think you guys probably just get a 1099.
1099.
You know your stuff, and then yeah, I've always filed it, but I don't actually know if I would get like arrested and sent to prison if I didn't.
Wow, we'll just drop the topic here. But no, you guys spend a ton of money on travel, so I think it all
True.
Kind of comes out in the wash. Real quick though, I'm interested in you guys beating Chico for that $2,500. You guys also, somebody put a bounty on your head as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You guys ended up losing. Is that correct?
That is sadly correct.
Ah.
It is, yeah. And also it was also the first tournament that the bounty was on our heads. So there's kind of a similarity between those two instances.
Right. And one of the guys that was on the team was one of your former teammates, Ty. Is that correct?
Sure is.
You guys are still good friends, correct?
Oh yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. And that's one of the things that's awesome about the Spikeball community. It seems that most people enjoy each other's company, and there's a lot of good sportsmanship, which is a beautiful thing for a lot of young kids to see as well. And you can that's directly seen on a lot of the videos that we watch of you guys play and other teams play, where right after points, you guys are high fiving, fist bumping, whatever with the other team, and that's good stuff.
That's one of the most special parts, I would say, about. And I think that's what's brought me back several times when I have kind of burned out on the actual game. Is the community it's so tight knit, and it's really fierce competition, but there's a lot of mutual respect and a lot of deep friendships that have come from that as well. And so even though like when I played Thai in co-ed tournaments, and maybe in the game we want to just beat each other into the ground as hard as we can. After the game, we're still best friends, and that's kind of true with the community as well. So it's a really cool atmosphere.
Yeah, as you should want to beat his head into the ground when you play him. As anyone,
when I'm not playing him, a lot of times as well.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty crazy that like when we do play each other. Honestly, like most times, I just don't like the kid. Like I just really am just mad at him, and like I just look at him with like such a mean look, and then like game ends, and I'm like, oh, what's up? I was talking the whole day. What's going on?
Who's gotten the better of each other in those co-ed matches?
Just say it. Yeah.
I don't know. We're pretty even overall. Me and my wife won the first one, and the one of we beat him and several teammates a couple times. So I don't know. I don't actually know head to head who's ahead, but there's not a
pretty sure Pierre John's ahead in co-ed.
I'll take it.
All right. Well, we'll settle that at a different time. But I'm still under the impression that your girlfriend Ty and Paige, your wife, they should just team up and play together as well.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something.
Both have very good teammates as well, and all four of them are really good friends with each other. So it's not the worst situation, but maybe someday. We'll see.
Gotcha. All right, so real fast as we move this thing along, because we're almost going to wrap up, I'm going to give you guys some rapid fire questions. So let's start with Paige. Let's go. I got about 12 or 13 questions. I need you to just give me a super quick answer.
Okay, ready.
How would your wife describe you in one word?
Goofball.
Favorite movie?
Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Best fast food restaurant?
Cane's, Raising Cane's.
When you dance, you look like
a drowning giraffe. It's just all limbs everywhere, no hope.
Okay, good. Favorite celebrity?
Shia LaBeouf.
Biggest accomplishment?
Getting married to my wife.
Good answer.
Stop it.
Least favorite type of music?
Oh, like where they yell and they're
Screamo.
yeah.
Favorite sport to watch?
College football.
How do you like your eggs?
Oh, the one where it's like kind of runny, but not super runny. Over easy, something.
Over easy. Yep. Elevator or stairs?
Stairs.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Best moment of your life?
Oh man. Once again, when I married my wife.
That is the correct answer. New York or LA?
New York.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you did that for your buddy.
I do.
All right. Well, congratulations on passing the rapid fire lightning round. As per usual, you win absolutely nothing. I want to thank my a good host of a show, David Faraday. He always says that as well. So, all right, let's go to you, Ty. Rapid fire. Here we go. Lightning round. Favorite band?
Hillsong United.
Great choice. Last book you read?
Oh gosh, Bible.
You're afraid of what?
Sorry, what was that?
Are we talking about the whole Bible or just a few pages?
Oh, just like a book or a chapter, you know? Like
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. You're afraid of what?
Heights.
One thing you're bad at.
Ice skating.
One food you can't live without.
Bagels. Long Island bagels.
What'd you eat for breakfast this morning?
Eggs and toast.
Your favorite sport to play?
Ooh, right now I gotta go with tennis.
Morning or night?
Night for sure.
What time did you go to bed last night?
2 a.m.
Favorite season?
Summer. Easy.
Biggest accomplishment?
Dating my girlfriend.
Is she watching?
I don't know. Maybe.
She better be. Best fast food restaurant?
Chick-fil-A. Peter John, come on. Easy Chick-fil-A.
True. And favorite sport to watch?
Right now, I also got to go with tennis.
Good call.
I'm a tennis addict right now.
Good call. And as the same with Peter John, Ty, thank you for playing. You win absolutely nothing.
Love it.
Folks, hopefully, if you have any questions, you put them in the chat. We're going to be wrapping this thing up here in a couple minutes. I see in the chat here we have some awesome comments. Let's see here. We got somebody said Michael Mondak, and here's a good question. As Christians, how do you compete in a godly way?
Oh, Richard Chapman.
Richard.
It's currently, I think, 2 a.m. He stayed up to watch us in Wales or England.
Well, he's being rewarded.
Compete in a godly way. I think we've the answer that I think it's kind of hard to explain, but the one that makes most sense is that we don't always do it well. First of all, we fail to do that a lot of times, but I think we both kind of understand that any skills and abilities that we do have are ones that God has given us to use for Him, and if we're not, then we're kind of wasting them. So we use every chance that we have to compete to try to honor God and glorify God with the skills that He's given us as kind of a tiny bit of what we can do to pay Him back for what He has blessed us with. So that's kind of the short answer, I would say. There's a lot more behind it, Richard, if you want to call me sometime.
Well said. Well said. Tyler, you can probably just echo that, ditto that.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of had conversations about how we want to represent ourselves, and like that's kind of the gist of like what we always come up with.
Yep, absolutely. You could probably keep each other in check at certain times, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm also intrigued, real quick, before we move on to the last segment. Who's the extremely maybe the more fiery one when things start to unravel a little bit? Does anybody need a pep talk during those games?
Oh, clearly Peter John.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. Probably me. Well,
I would say I would say fiery. No offense to your question, but doesn't describe either of us.
Yeah.
In that, like, I would say both of us are known as Spikeball players as the ones who are always like. We get a lot of people upset with us for not reacting enough and for not showing enough emotion. So if anything, we're both kind of the opposite of fiery when we play. We have like a lot of competitiveness and a lot of drive, I would say, but it doesn't get taken out on other people. It's more of like a self-motivation thing. So if anything, we struggle to like congratulate each other, congratulate other people, do kind of embrace the emotions of like big moments and stuff because we're kind of just so like in the zone, I think.
Yeah, one of the things that people thought was cool about Game 3 of this or last year's Nationals was that they're like, oh, Pierre John Tyler finally broke their robotic like playing style or something like that because they're like a couple points where like we actually celebrated or like we're like yeah like something like that because like we like to play like I guess really calmly and like don't really outwardly look like we're trying very hard, but like inwardly we're like I mean we're definitely trying as hard as we can. But yeah, fiery is a weird word to use, or not like weird word, but I would say doesn't really describe us, but because we like don't really say many words when we play. Like it's just like, all right, 1-0, all right, 2-0, like and like what's like really funny is that like whenever one of us like aces like we'll like go to each other and be like not like oh that was a sick serve, just be like all right go and do it better next time, like we'll
Right.
like we're like encourage each other by like challenging each other to like do better, you know.
Yep. I got you. I got you. I'm going to get to a couple more of these questions, then we'll wrap this thing up. I have one more game for you guys because people love the games. I like the games too.
Wait.
Judah Friend says, "What do you do for a living to provide income?" So you guys could each give me 15 seconds on that.
Go Ty.
Cool. Yeah, so right now I'm working at a cabinet making shop. So I do that, and I also work for my old partner's dad. And we install school cafeterias and stuff like that. So that's kind of my income.
And then I married a full-time nurse, so that is currently my income. I'm a master's student in an occupational therapy program in Cleveland at Cleveland State. So my wife is a nurse, and she provides for me currently. Wonderful situation.
Whoop, whoop.
There you go. And you're still in school too, as well, Ty, right?
Yep, yeah, I'm taking online classes right now.
Okay. And then we have last question here. This is from Seth. What is your favorite Bible verse, and what is your favorite state to play in?
Favorite state to play in? That's interesting.
I don't know that I have a favorite Bible verse, but my favorite book is Acts. I think when they talk about taking joy in suffering and in the worst situations, there's situations that God has put you in to teach you things and to bring you closer to Him. I think that's always been really meaningful to me. Favorite state, probably Ohio. Is home state.
Ohio, nice. Yeah, same with me. I don't really have a favorite Bible verse. I like Romans, because it talks about like the power of the Holy Spirit, like the Holy Spirit in you, and like just living the right way, and kind of like you are what you kind of surround yourself with, you know. And yeah, so that's kind of inspirational to me because I try to like keep my head upwards, so I focus on God, you know.
Yep.
So favorite state to play, yeah. I don't Pennsylvania. I like Pennsylvania.
Amen. Amen. All right, folks. So we're going to move on to the last segment of the show. Like I said, I promised one last game. So what we're going to do is we are going to play a summary movie game with you two. So you guys are actually going to be on the same team. All right. I'm just going to be throwing out the titles. How it's going to work is I'm going to throw a title on the screen, and then Paige, you'll go first. So Tyler, you'll actually have to just close your eyes or yeah, do that. Perfect. No peeking. And hey, Jack Matthews said you guys are my fave.
My God,
Jack.
That a boy,
what a
Jack.
guy. What a guy.
And so you have 5 seconds to just explain the summary or the plot of the movie without naming characters or certain things that are extremely obvious. So
Let's
I'm
get
gonna throw that up on the screen here. And these people are gonna see if you guys are actually good at anything else besides Spikeball. So, so for instance, this is just an example. I'm gonna put this up on the screen right now. So as you see, you can look, Ty. This is just an example. So if this were me, I would be saying to you guys, somebody plays music and he brings along a girl and they fall in love and he has trouble with alcohol or something like that, and you should say A Star Is Born.
That was good. That was well done.
Well,
I wouldn't have guessed it, but it was
Seemed
good.
rehearsed, but okay.
Okay, so Pete, you're up first. Ty, close your eyes. Here we go. As soon as it goes, you're on. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. I'm going to show it with my hand.
All right. Oh, Simba, hold the lion up over the rock thing. I guess I shouldn't say the word, right?
True. Yeah. All right. You can.
For the record, the rules did not explicitly state that, but
yeah, you did.
The rules did say no saying any major characters in the movie. Simba's.
For the record, I missed that part. But okay.
You also said lion, though. You said Simba.
Yeah, no, I said both things. Yep.
That is true. Okay, close your eyes, Pete. Here we go. Ty, you're up.
What? I can't see anything. Did you put something up? I can't see anything.
Okay, I think your screen's probably too small.
Yeah, that might be it. Do you want to just have Peter John do it then?
Yeah, Peter John, do the 5 for Ty. We'll play. You're the ultimate.
Frozen.
Okay, great. He got it, Ty. It was Frozen.
Oh.
You did an outstanding job, man. You didn't even say anything.
Telepathically.
I knew.
Telepathic at this point.
All right, close your eyes, Ty. Here we go.
Do I even have to close my eyes now?
Oh yeah, sure. You can't even see the stuff on the screen. No, you don't have to close your eyes. All right, here we go.
Magic rug.
Aladdin.
Let's go.
Nice.
That's so funny. That was actually the practice one that I was telling Peter John before we even started anything.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, next one.
Girl, wolf man, dancing, fancy dress.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, I'm gonna give that to you.
That should count.
Okay, now we're gonna ramp it up here. You got 3 seconds for these last few. 3 seconds.
God.
Wait, so does Ty have to say the answer before the 3 seconds, or I just finished by the 3 seconds?
I'll give him a couple seconds after.
Okay.
That's
Cool.
fair. That's fair.
Okay, here we go.
Ship, sink, ocean.
Titanic.
Let's go.
Also,
Wow.
your 3 is weird, my man. What are you doing there? That is different. That's very different. Anyway.
Thank you. Okay, 3 seconds on the clock. And go.
Boxing.
Creed.
Punch guy.
Rocky.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
All I could think of was the dude's name, but I got yelled at last time, so. Okay.
All right, last couple here. 2 seconds on the clock.
Oh boy. Lightsaber.
Star Wars.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. This is, you guys are pretty good.
Frodo. Oh, dang
Lord of
it.
the Rings.
I did it again.
All right, last two. Last two.
The Yellow Brick Road.
Wizard of Oz.
All right, last one. You get 1 second for this last one.
Oh boy. Love.
Can
I have no idea.
we get a guess?
Dude, come on, Ty.
Would you say love?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The Notebook.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So close.
Oh man. All right. Well, hey, thank you for playing that game. And same with the lightning rounds. You guys win absolutely nothing. But, hey, hopefully we will get some cool zip code shirts eventually or something, because I'd like to send you guys something for being on the show.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
I'll take a
You
sheet
can hand it
mug.
to us at the Hermitage number 4.
There you go. Hey, what would you take, PJ?
I said I'll take a Sheets mug, either or.
Sheets mug? All right,
Yeah.
Sheets would like that. They do that.
I'll take that Sheets banner behind you.
That's not up for grabs. I'm sorry for that. So real fast, I want to thank you guys for being on the show. Hope you guys will be friends for the show for a long, long time.
Of course.
We wish you the best. Oh, I have one last question. Is Chico Spikeball, they still play or no?
No.
Tyler plays, but Sean does not play.
Gotcha.
Half of them makes up another team, but one guy, they both work for Spikeball, but one of them plays and one is he plays in like one tournament for fun each year, something like that.
So after you guys took him down, those curtains for him. Is that how it works or no?
After that year, they stopped playing together.
Okay. Wow. All right. So I'm gonna put on up the. If you want to follow Cisek Showalter, it's _ Spikeball, and then at Tyler Chiz and at Peter John Showalter. There's no H on that John, folks. And then obviously you can follow the zip code on Facebook, the _ zip code on Instagram, and the zip code on YouTube. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. We will be coming to you live next Wednesday at 8 p.m. And I seriously want to thank you guys again for coming on the show. I seriously appreciate it. I hope you guys will be friends for the show of the show for a long time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
All right, so folks, that wraps up the zip code with Peter John Showalter and Tyler Cisek. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you guys learned some stuff about Roundnet, some stuff about Spikeball, some random things here and there. Practice up. Maybe the Hermitage Spikeball Classic may be coming back for the 4th time. You never know.
It needs to.
All right, folks. Signing off for the zip code. We will check you later. And as always, love you, Shenango Valley.